And good morning and welcome to another edition of Let It Be Known. It is happy Thursday. And yes, he says, say it ain't so. Yes, say it. It is so. The Knicks are up 2 games to none in the NBA Eastern Conference semifinals against the Philadelphia 76ers in a grinded out game last night. Um, Sixers were without Joel Embiid. The Knicks were without Mitchell Robinson. Uh, Cat was in foul trouble most of the night, but still posted 20 points in about 20 minutes of play. And yeah, Orangey, Knicks versus Pistons in the East Finals will help with the NBA ratings. The players from the 90s at those games bring back great memories. Yeah, indeed. Absolutely, indeed. And we're going to get into more of the NBA and a particular player who a lot of people, including myself, think is helping to ruin the game. And this player is uh, supposedly the best player or one of the best in the league. But we'll talk about that in a moment. But it's a lot going on. I've neglected to mention, brought to you by the Bell Project. You saw them yesterday. Nicole from the Bell Project jump in and talk about women in prison and in jails and not being able to um, post these bails that are ridiculously placed on folks. But support the Bell Project, bellproject.org. A 14-year-old in Texas, this is just brutal. Officer Husan Rogers slammed freshman Kathy to the ground on her back and head. She immediately lost consciousness, experienced seizure as a result. Um, and the cop, folks, he's kept his job. And that has led to a lot of outrage. As you see, the letter there that was sent to or obtained by the Charlotte Observer newspaper. But this shows you just how heartless and gutless some of these guys are. I mean, you slam a 14-year-old girl to the ground and causes her a concussion. Civil rights advocates and residents have demanded criminal charges and accountability. They argued that the response again raises questions about how black children are treated inside American schools. The incident fueled renewed criticism of school policing and use of force tactics involving minors. Family members and supporters have pointed to the graphic footage as evidence that the officer used unnecessary violence against a child. Demonstrators and activists have also questioned why officers in similar situations often remain employed um, while being investigated. And these investigations tend to drag on for months, if not years. But to slam this child to the ground for what? That's is as diabolical as it gets. And it's a female as well. It's a female. That officer had no other way of containing her. I find that hard to believe. If that's the case, then he shouldn't be on the job at all. You you can't contain a 14-year-old female. Why are you on the job? That's a no-brainer. Here we are. They got folks saying, protesting, demonstrating. This is the most protesting and demonstrating country there is, isn't it? Oh, man. And folks have gone absolutely stone wild. How about this in Florida? This right here is absolutely insane. A Florida mother was arrested after authorities said she kicked a child during a youth football game that spiraled into a chaotic brawl involving parents and spectators. Investigators said tensions exploded on the sidelines before the woman allegedly assaulted the child during the confrontation. She now faces charges including child cruelty and resisting an officer. Witness videos and cell phone footage reportedly captured screaming adults, fighting children, and physical fights breaking out around the field. The case again brings up this toxic behavior of youth sporting events where parents and coaches increasingly have been accused of turning children's games into violent confrontations. But how ridiculous! And what is this stem? What's behind all this? What's the root of this? It's the money that's involved in sports now. And these parents, as you can see her, oh gosh, you kicked my child. This lights out. But the root of this, the money that's involved now, even in collegiate sports, we never saw this. I mean, I played youth sports. We never saw this type of behavior from parents. But the money that's involved back then, the money it was no money involved. The parents are seeing the dollar signs. With college now, and I'm all for the NIL no matter what this administration does. I think these college athletes should be making the money that they're now making. But they're seeing this. They didn't have that opportunity before, which now extends even to high school because you having some signing deals in high school, signing with agents and signing deals. He said the white woman privilege finally ran out. But the money that you can make, money in high school now, you can make a couple of million, a few million in college, and of course, the big prize, tens of millions in pro sports. And these loser parents living vicariously through their children, picking others' kids. It's one thing, it's bad enough if kids are fighting each other, but then to have the parents come on the field. It's crazy. Yeah, RNG would know. That's his lane. This collegiate stuff is his lane for sure. 8th graders, he says, are the target of NIL. It's absolutely ludicrous, and hopefully this woman will find out. There will be some criminal charges, assault and battery, felonies, and it should not be okay. Well, just in the spirit of no, in the spirit of the law, put her away. He deserves no sympathy, no breaks whatsoever. Or police stuff. We got to zoom through this morning, aren't we? More police stuff. Mississippi Sheriff Deputy, lieutenant actually, was fired after authorities said he became involved in a fight with an umpire during a little league baseball tournament in Mississippi. Lieutenant Darrell Holly had been coaching a team during the Grand Slam Mississippi tournament when the altercation with umpire Jeff Atkins allegedly turned physical. Both men were arrested and charged with misdemeanor fighting, not in self-defense. Tournament officials quickly condemned the incident, saying youth sports should center on safety, integrity, and respect. No kidding, right? The sheriff's office responded by terminating the lieutenant after the arrest. Again, these out of control, totally out of control. It's just totally out of control stuff here. And this guy is a or was a lieutenant. He was he was a lieutenant, and you make it to the rank of lieutenant. This is what you do. You you go out, you get in a fight with an umpire. There he is. It's unbelievable. Got the woman kicking the child on the football field. You got a cop slamming a 14-year-old child and causing her a concussion, and then you got a lieutenant fighting with an umpire in a really a meaningless game. Physical fight. Can only imagine he was trying to exert that, "Hey, you know who I am? You know my position?" One of those type things. It's crazy. But that is that's what they do. That's what's going on in these sports. I'm telling you, the betting that's involved, the money that's involved, it's gotten everybody twisted. I haven't seen the viral video of a police captain, "RNG, stop reading my script." But yes, indeed, since you mentioned it, everybody's out of control, and this is no accident based on what's been going on the last, year and a half, right? This guy right here, the NYPD has transferred this Brooklyn police captain after he was captured on video bad-mouthing Mayor, Mamdani and Democrats. The officer, Captain James Wilson, as you see here, was captured criticizing the mayor while on the scene of an anti-immigration enforcement protest in Bushwick. He's on the scene of an uh, immigration enforcement protest, and he couldn't help but to, you know, spew his racist hate. Police had responded to demonstrators as they attempted to block immigration authorities from leaving a hospital in the neighborhood. Wilson um, got his transfer, got notice of his transfer on Monday. He's going to the department's communications division, a 911 call center in the Bronx. Um, the NYPD said that department policy prohibits officers from publicly expressing personal views about a political party while they are on duty. They said his disciplinary process is ongoing, but he goes off after someone asked him about his thoughts on the mayor, and he responds by saying, "He's nonsense. He's, like temporary. Not my boss. Yeah, he's your boss." And he says Mondami is an embarrassment and total nonsense. He says all Democrats are a waste of human race. Isn't that something? So you know where he's from. When you can paint someone, a group with a broad brush like that, you know how he feels about the immigrants, the Hispanics, the blacks, as they like to say. You know how he feels. It's no secret, no secret at all. But they have transferred him, and they said they have hinted that there could be some further disciplinary actions that he faces. It's a crazy world. And to show you, to even expound upon how crazy it is, and how this last year and a half has turned everything upside down. And this gets under the skin, doesn't it? So the New York Times is being sued by the Trump administration after a white male employee claimed that he was denied a promotion because of his race and gender. The lawsuit accuses the paper of using diversity goals in ways that violated federal civil rights laws. The employee was later identified as Bryant Russo, who's a longtime editor and producer on the paper's international desk. Um, he's still working at the Times, by the way. This is all about Trump's DE&I, and so um, you have this guy showing his privilege, suing New York Times because he claims to have been passed over for a promotion that obviously went to someone of color, and he claims that he got passed over because he's white. That's something. Let me tell you something. Even if that was the case, you, and it probably wasn't. It probably wasn't. But even if it was, let's count how many times. We'd be here for years trying to count how many times uh, minorities were passed over simply because of their race. They had a 400-year head start. Is absolutely right, and that's what affirmative action was about. That's what DE&I was about. It's about at least getting your foot in the door, allowing us to get a foot in the door. That's what it was all about. It didn't give nobody an advantage. It just gave us an ability to at least be considered. The more talented folks to to be considered. How about that? Because everywhere in every profession that we are in, we we know the story. Our performance has to be 10 times better just so things could be somewhat equal. It's like the president has said, and Ron DeSantis has said, white men are the most discriminated against. It, it is just an awful, awful thing to even conjure up in your mind. Tell that to the folks who are chained to in the bottom of ships and watched as their loved ones, died because they couldn't withstand the thousands of miles of travel, in this chained and the bottom of a ship where they're barely given even water. Tell that to those who were brutalized and had their spouses and kids brutalized in front of them, and they couldn't do nothing about it. Tell it to Black Wall Street, Jim Crow, era Black folks, to the mass incarceration when Black folks were getting life sentences for a piece of, crack cocaine, and white folks on Wall Street were getting probation or slaps on the wrist for pounds of cocaine. Tell that to those who were pushed out of their homes, their longtime homes, because of redlining and gentrification. I mean, we can go on and on. And yet, you have the Byron Donalds of the world, the Clarence Thomases of the world, who used affirmative action, who used DE&I before kicking that ladder out from under them. But how about lifting as you climb? So you can't tell me nothing about somebody called Chicago Flips Red. Want me to have a civilized conversation with, uh, an uncivilized population? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. People are, twisted on both ends. That's why the Met Gala, again, the Met Gala was an issue for people like the people who are really down for their people, like Jennifer Lewis and Taraji P. Henson. You have Nelly and Snoop Dogg and them dancing the jig for the president. That's it's stuff like that that makes it all the more irritating for folks, all the more hurtful for folks. They got a little bit of they got a little bit of privilege. White folks allowed them to have. They in the big house. Everybody else in the field. The way it is. Um, as we talked about at the top, the NBA playoffs are in full steam, and pretty good series out in San Antonio. That series now shifts to Minneapolis, where you have the Timberwolves and the Spurs going at it. Spurs put a whooping on the T-Wolves last night after losing game one in San Antonio. They came back and made a statement. And of course, the Knicks over the Philadelphia 76ers in a game that was a grind. And I tell you what, it was a grind watching as the NBA refs uh, just made sure in that game that a 2-hour game was going to be 4 hours. Every and look, I know I'm a Knicks fan, and the Knicks did win, but anybody watching, I was looking at even commentators who don't like the Knicks. They were appalled at the whistle last night. Every call, every time, and especially in the first half, particularly in the first half, Sixers got the ball. Foul, 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 and it was challenged to call. No, the NBA's challenge rule sucks. 'cause you put the team in a position where if they use the challenge, you can only challenge once. You can challenge once more if you win the challenge, and sometimes they even get replay wrong. So you always gotta factor into that. So if it's early in the game, the coach is just not gonna challenge or should not challenge. And you see the players all the time, "Challenge, challenge, challenge." No, coach is 100% right. "No, I'm not challenging right now." You gotta pick your spots to make a challenge. But the Sixers kept getting whistle after whistle. In game 1, in which the Knicks blew them out, they had twice as many free throw attempts as the Knicks did. They went to the line, I think it was 34 times in game 1. Knicks went only 17 times. This is at home. Imagine what's gonna happen in Philly. The Sixers are gonna go to the line 60 times if the officiating continues this way. This is the playoffs. They say let them play. They let the Sixers play, and that was what was impressive. One of the things that was impressive about, um, that win last night by the Knicks, they had to beat the officials too, and they grinded it out. Orange Juice is a little off topic, but Charles Barkley went viral for his support for immigrants, but is quiet about Jim Crow maps in the South. I wonder why. He probably was asked to be quiet. Dr. Nicole says, to be fair, it's not just celebrities that need to join together and commit to stop supporting Amazon, but they have such a monopoly right now, so it will not be easy, not like Target. Well, yeah, exactly. Um, my position with celebrities is that they're so selfish and out of touch. Um, and Amazon, you're right. That's a hard one right there. And it's not easy. Even with the thing with Target. What came out of the Target? Somebody tell me what came out of the Target boycott? What came out of it? You felt good because you thought some black folks refused to spend money at Target that hurt other black folks, really? That really it did. And yet, through it all, Target had maintained, "Listen, we are showing you, here's what we have done and are doing." I sat in a meeting with them this time last year, May of 2025, private meeting, the higher ups in Target, and I'll never forget Kiara Fernandez, Molly Snyder, they were like, "Listen, yes, we pledged, what is it, $1 billion or whatever it was, $2 billion, and guess here, let me show you the paperwork. We've exceeded it. We just decided when the president went all off key, went all out of his, you know, mind with this anti-DE&I, essentially, and I'm gonna paraphrase them, but essentially, they said, "We just to keep the peace," because that he's been hurting other businesses big time. Just to keep the peace, we say we are not gonna call it DEI anymore, and I didn't see nothing wrong with that. They could, as long as you continue to do it, you don't have to. Hey, if somebody is giving you $1 billion or $2 billion and saying, "Hey, they don't want to write the check to, Stacey Brown. Instead, we'll write it to, your wife or your daughters." I'm good, just to keep the peace. And that's what Target was doing. And the HBCU, the support that they have nonstop provided for HBCUs is so unsung, and they continue to do so. And yeah, they continue to support the Essence Fest. Could they have done more for certain ones? Well, that I mean, they're a corporation. They do they are they're gonna do what's best for the corporation, for the company. I thought Target was just I think people felt they were an easy target, no pun intended, or pun intended. And I know that folks out there in Minneapolis, those original protesters, they have other issues with Target. But the issues that they have brought up have been vehemently denied by Target. And even the attorney general, who happens to be black, has said, I don't know about that. These allegations that they're making against Target, I have not witnessed that. They were not involved in this. But I think the point of people like Nakima Levy Armstrong was that one of the points anyway, was that they were supporting certain things that ultimately harm immigrants and black folks. And they may have some interest in that. I don't know. But all this pomp and circumstances around that Target boycott, what was gained out of it? Because the black press eventually got pennies. Like the black church, what is that? The National Baptist Convention is like 200 of them or more, and they got like, what was it, $200,000 to split? And after putting an almost $4 billion proposal in front of Target, the black press winds up with pennies. I mean, it was a really unrealistic proposal. Yeah, yeah, the way it was laid out. There was no way Target was going. I won't say unrealistic in the sense that the way it was put together, it was thoughtful, and it was trying. What Ben Davis was trying to do, I guess, was to make sure that certain entities like NAFIO were included. But the Target situation was, hey, eventually, this past January, the Target Foundation wrote a check to the black press. And I was under the understanding, or, or made to understand, that Target itself was doing some sort of programmatic ad deal with the black press, digital, which the way it appeared and the way it still appears, it's like they're not gonna get near uh, the amount that they say is the potential, and it's not much in the grand scheme. If they were to reach the certain thresholds with digital impressions and things like that, and all the papers have to participate, and they all have to uh, do certain things. It's very hard when most of those papers are they're small business, very small businesses, very little resources. RG says Essence is a big ball of confusion now. Don't be surprised if you see a protest of the festival. Follow the money. And he mentions the whole Joel and B. Just wait for the refs to give Joe every call while he flops. And Joel Embiid uh, flops, not only flops, but he tries to take out other players. He tries to physically injure them. It's like Draymond Green. I don't know why people like that guy, But the king of the flops, the worst of the worst, is in Oklahoma City. There is no question about it. Shy, or whatever you call it, Gilchrist, Gilgeous Alexander, um, just continued to get these favorable calls. No one touched him. He got a call there. Where was the foul? Clips are circulated heavily across social media, showing defenders appearing frustrated after whistles repeatedly sent him to the free throw line. Critics have accused the NBA of turning playoff basketball into a free throw contest instead of allowing physical competition. And the backlash has become so loud that sports talk shows, former players, and others are beginning to just go off on the NBA for allowing this behavior. This guy, I think he had a game where he scored 40 points, and something like 25 of the points came from the free throw line or more. People argue, well, SGA is so quick, defenders can't stay in front of him. That is just not the case. That's not the point here. And it was like, yeah, he stayed in front of him. It does lend to the the conspiracy theories that the games are fixed. Or just send uh, SGA to Rucker Park. He needs a real good foul. Yeah, and that's the thing. And you mentioned Orange G did earlier about the '90s. He couldn't do this thing because at that point somebody would take him out. Okay, we'll show you what a foul. Somebody would take him out, and I'm all for it. I'm all for Charles Oakley or Dennis Rodman or Bill Lambier. Time to drive on somebody like that, and the refs makes those type of calls. Okay, what they will do, what they would have done, I should say, is to ensure that SGA would think twice and think hard about driving into a lane and claiming to be fouled. Oh, we'll show you what a foul is. The flopping, the is just it's disgusting basketball. And as it was mentioned, Joel Embiid is just like that, and he's so much bigger than SGA, tall and lanky, not lanky, but just awkward and always out to injure someone. He's never not out to injure someone, um, Joel Embiid. But this stuff, uh, this is why I've been saying Adam Silver is the worst commissioner in the history of sports. If you have really diminished a great product. And I also think that I think that this is a sport filled with black players, and now you have a situation where they don't care how embarrassed the game looks. But what happened last night in New York, the first half particularly, and how it was whistle after whistle after whistle. What continues to happen with SGA all season long and so far all playoff long. It's just it hurts the game. There have been some really great games, particularly in the Eastern Conference, and yet no one's. People are mostly talking about the flopping, and somewhere Adam European Silver is thinking that's a good look for this sport, for the league. I guess one good thing about it is certainly not, hurt the women's, WNBA and women's, basketball. Their attendance is up, revenue is up, merchandise is up, everything's up there. It is becoming much more enjoyable to watch the women's game, and good for them, they've earned it, and hopefully, they won't, fall prey to this nonsense that has been going on in the NBA with the flopping and the constant foul calls, especially in the playoffs. It used to be let them play, especially in the playoffs. It has to be something really demonstrative to call a foul in the playoffs, not these little, "Okay, touch me." If somehow the defender, illegally alters a shot, that's a foul. But when you see Shy, or whatever his name is, SGA, just flailing his arms and kicking his legs out and falling on the floor without being touched, LeBron is good for that too. We've seen, LeBron flop quite embarrassingly so. We've seen that, which is a shame because, you know, he wants to, uh he wants to be considered the greatest player to play, and yet he too is a flopper. I mean, look at this, king flopper. I mean, just look. Come on, come on. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. They allow this to go on. LeBron, SGA, and, and they're supposed to be the stars of the league, right? And here's Embiid. What is that? When I see that, it makes the and the ref calls foul. How? When I see that, and him in particular, I feel like Fred Sanford. You wanna call him "you big dummy"? He just flopped, right. The art of flopping with Joel Embiid. But, I mean, that's embarrassing. It should be. It should be. Oh, boy. Anyway, Thirsty Thursdays. Um, After LeBron's comments about Memphis in front of those white people, I lost all respect for him. I am not the only black person that saw that. No, you're not. No, you're not. I have not ever been a LeBron fan. I have a younger brother who is a huge LeBron fan. I just not a LeBron fan. Is he great? Absolutely. I wasn't a Michael Jordan fan. Was he great? Absolutely. Michael Jordan got a lot of calls, but he didn't flop. There was no flopping in his game. NBA needs to cut it out. They need to cut it out. Nonetheless, folks, appreciate you hanging in there with us on this Thursday. Kinda dreary out in the Northeast, but maybe the sun will come out. If not today, as the song says, tomorrow. And we'll see you then. Thanks for watching.
Let's go! Let's go, Flav. Hey! Public enemy is coming through. Public